choosing a good gym can be a pretty tricky situation to handle. Sometimes you have like so much choice, so many different gyms that you can potentially sign up for. However, you have to consider the pros and cons of each one, and just finding that perfect balance could be overwhelming. Or sometimes you have basically no choice, or you have to choose between a gym that's like close to your place, walking distance, but it's always busy, equipment is old, you don't like the people who train there. And it's overall a bad choice, but then your other choice is like on the other side of the town, you have to drive in for half an hour, and it's a good gym, but just the time waste going back and forth is too much. So you kind of like have to choose between two options that are just not great. So this is what we're going to be discussing today, how to choose a gym without compromising too much and still be able to get the best out of your training session. My name is Nikki, I'm a certified fitness coach, and over the past several months, I believe, I've been to 15 different gyms, and over the past few years, I've probably trained in 20 different countries, all kinds of different situations, all kinds of different gyms that are super modern, huge, not very busy, a lot of different equipment availability, and gyms that are basically complete, that were just very bad. Let's put it this way. So I'm going to give you the criteria ranked in order of importance, and we're going to start with two basic criteria, just general idea how to select a gym, and then we're going to talk about exercise equipment, which is going to be the last 3 points that we're going to be discussing. So point number one is you want to make sure that whatever gym you choose allows you to be consistent and to have productive workouts. Because it doesn't really matter how good the gym is if you're not able to actually be there, do your workouts, and do them properly. So here we have things like location, big one, logistics, how busy the gym gets, and how do you feel, how comfortable you feel in that gym. Like, what's the gym vibe? So you want to make sure that you're excited to go to the gym, and also it's easy for you to be in the gym and do your workouts. So for example, if I have to choose between two gyms, like one is like super close but very busy, very crowded, I don't really like the people there, and I have a gym that's like further away, even though the location is not great, comes down to balance, I would probably have a better workout there if there's less people, and even if there's less equipment availability, less different types of equipment in terms of what I can choose from, I would probably choose the other one. But in certain situations, I would rather choose the one that's like closer to me just because it saves me time. And even if I have like limited amount of time and I need to do like a very quick session, it's very easy to be consistent. So first off, consider which situation, which gym allows you to be consistent and have good workouts. You're excited to go to the gym, you enjoy being there, you get encouraged by other people, and you don't get too much, negativity from the people there. First, very important criteria, top one. Then the second one is going to be, again, another general one, but you want to consider your overall skill, technical proficiency, and strength levels. Because depending on whether you're a beginner or someone who's more advanced, and whether on that spectrum you are, there's going to be different options that are going to be open for you, or they're going to expand as you're getting more advanced, or if you go, we're obviously not going to go into more beginner mode, but let's say if you're more of a beginner. What I mean here, so some exercises, if you go to a gym where it has like limited equipment, you only have like free weights, and you're a relative beginner, well then you may find that you don't have the skill and technical proficiency to do some of those compound heavy barbell exercises properly, or just learning them is going to be too tricky for you. So as a beginner, you may benefit from having a little bit more variety in terms of different machines that allow you to use a lighter weights and exercise that are movements that are a little bit more simple, easier to move, to learn, or maybe there's a coach. So you have to consider like where you are and if the gym fits basically your skill and how strong you are. And of course, talking about strong people or people who are a little bit more advanced, if you're too strong, you may run into a problem where you go to a gym and the weights or the machines, the weights that you can load on those machines, or even the free weights, are just not sufficiently challenging for you. So it's not a very common problem, but it does happen sometimes. So this is the second general criteria. Consider where you are and what you can do, what options are available for you in the gym. Do you need a coach? Do you need support? Do you need a group? Can you train alone? And so on. And then to the actual equipment. So what is most important when it comes to different machines and free weights? So number one, and this is the first tier, it's going to be basic stuff such as free weights. So if you have free weights, that, this is the important part, reflect your strength level and also allow for comfortable increments to increase the load. I'm going to expand on this in a little bit. But essentially what I mean is that if you have free weights, you can do most of the general exercise, you can hit most of the major muscle groups, you're fine. And again, you want to make sure that they're not too heavy and not too light, depending on how strong you are. And at the same time, the increment, the steps, so how the weights change. So for example, if the increment is 5 pounds, so you have a 25-pound dumbbell, then 30-pound dumbbell, then what's next? Like 35, 40, and so on. Then if the increment is too big, 5 pounds, maybe too much for you to handle, especially on some exercises for the smaller muscles. And if you are someone who cannot handle those increments, better choose a gym where the increments for the plates or for the dumbbells and so on, it's smaller. So let's say the weights go up by 2.5 pounds, or in certain situations, maybe like 125. Okay, something to consider. What I mean by free weights, mostly dumbbells. So dumbbells open up a lot more variation in terms of your exercise selection. You can do more things with dumbbells and you don't need things like squat rack and so on. As long as you have an adjustable bench, you can hit most muscle groups a-okay. Then the next thing would be barbells. So barbells and weight plates. Although with barbells, you have a little bit more limitation in terms of some of the exercises. However, if you're a stronger individual, you will need barbells. Dumbbells are not going to cut it. I mean, sometimes the amount of weight that you can have via using dumbbells is just not going to be enough for you. So barbells, very effective for some of the heavy exercises, especially if you're a little bit stronger. However, in this situation, you would need a squat rack or also a stand for the bench. And it's a little bit more of a trickier situation because you would actually need more equipment there, and also an adjustable bench as well. And I would even add here to the free weights, I would also add a pull-up bar. Although if you have a bar with, let's say, a squat rack, you can actually do pull-ups on the squat rack as long as the bar is stable enough. But hitting the latissimus muscles or doing a vertical pull down, or in this case it's going to be a pull-up, it's actually pretty hard if you don't have a pull-up bar. So first criteria, tier number 1, basic stuff, free weights, and also a pull-up bar. Then going to the next level, have a little bit more variety. For the upper body, this is going to be a good cable machine. So you can, the very basic stuff would be just a single stand with a single pulley. But if you have 2 stands where you can do a crossover or a fly, you get a lot more options, especially if you can adjust the pulley, the height of the pulley. So have it up, have it in the middle, have it down, be able to go up and down, 2 pulleys, and also having different attachments, different handles, different bars that you can switch for different exercises, and ideally have a section for a pull down. So a good cable machine will allow you to have even more variety, and especially if you're someone who doesn't handle well compound exercises due to still not having enough skill or technical proficiency, a cable machine is going to solve a lot of problems for the upper body. For the lower body, we're talking about just a couple of leg machines. We have your leg curl and leg extension machine, and maybe a leg press, just so you have a little bit more variety. And of course, if you struggle with some of the heavy compound exercises, those basic leg machines are gonna allow you to continue to overload in a pretty easy way, they are pretty convenient. So that's tier number 2. Tier number 3, essentially everything else. So if you have your free weights, cable machines, and basic leg machines, you're good, and then anything else is just a nice bonus. So here we have things like a chest isolation machine, so a pec deck, for example, your back isolation machines, so things like rowing machines or even a lever machine for the lats, maybe an assisted lat pull down, assisted pull-up, You have different grips for your pull-ups, so you have neutral, you have overhead, underhand, like very convenient. You have your dip station, you have your all kinds of isolation exercises for the biceps, for the triceps, for the shoulders, for the legs, quads, hamstrings, calves, and so on. You have different stands, different benches. You can do isolation exercises for the abdomen. You have a mat, you have a yoga ball, you have your, like cardio section, and so on. So basically anything else is a bonus, but you don't necessarily need it to have a productive workout. All right, that's it. Basically 5 criteria, 2 general and 3 related to the actual equipment in the gym. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember, the Emperor protects. Until next time, cheers.